Welcome everybody for our daily lesson on Kabbalah. We were talking about the Sferot and we were talking about certain types of Sferot. So just a quick review. And we says that in order for a totally transcendental God to relate to his creation, a series of 10 Sferot had to be created. And they have to be created and they have to be brought into existence. So the first two of the Sferot are Keter, and which is the crown, Chokhmah, which is wisdom, and the first Sfera is called Keter, crown, since the crown is worn above the head. So therefore, the crown, refers to the things that are above the mind's ability to comprehension, and wisdom, therefore, is the first thing that the mind can grasp, and is therefore called the beginning. When he says the beginning, that refers to the Sfera of wisdom. And since wisdom and Chokhmah is the second Sfera, that's why it relates to the letter Bet, which it starts starts the Torah in Sefer Bereshit. Excuse me, and that's where we said that this is where all begins. So that's just a thing to understand what the Sferot are. Sferot are basically as we say, a way for God to relate to us and so on and so forth. Relate to us in terms of he's too abstract and for us to understand, so we need something a little more tangible. So we spoke about Keter, we spoke about Chokhmah, we spoke about Binah, and we said that Keter is called Ari Champin, and we talked about the Chokhmah, that it's Abba, and Binah, that it's mother. We gave him those names, and we explained yesterday why are they called like that. So today we're going to talk about the 6 lower Sferot. Now, the 6 lower Sferot, from Chesed until Yesod, are really referred to as one unit, one section, that it is many times referred to as the masculine section, and many times it also refers to mainly by the Sfera of Tiferet. Now, Tiferet, if you're going to look like this, there's a triangle, right? There is the Keter, and there is a Chokhmah, and there is Binah. Then from that, in the middle, you have the Sfera of Tiferet, okay? So Tiferet, it's called also Vav Ktsavot, the 6 ends. It's also called Ze'er Ampin, the small face, and then it calls the 6 Ktsavot for the 6 Sferot that goes from Chesed to Yesod. So if we're going to continue, since we spoke about Bereshit, and we said that Chokhmah is really the bet of the Bereshit, and so on and so forth. So let's talk about the days of creation itself. If we're going to look at Sefer Bereshit, so there is Bereshit, and then Bara Kadosh Baruch Hu et hashamayim ve'et haaretz va'aretz hayta tohu vavo. We'll speak about this concept, which is fundamental in Kabbalah, and to understand what exactly tohu vavo is. It's not what most people think. Tohu vavo in today's terminology is referred to a complete chaos, but it's not necessarily so. So, and then we know that in the pasuk, the first pasuk that talks about Ba'aseh Bereshit, it says that the heaven and earth was created, and Hashamayim, the heavens, are the 6 Sferot from Chesed until Yesod, and they are referred to Tiferet, which is really the main representative. It's the Keter of the 6 Sferot, which is really represents the 6 Sferot. Therefore, Hashamayim, the sky is falling, right? This is the masculine signs which influence creation, right? He gives the influence in creation. The Aretz, the land, refers to as Malchut, and this is the feminine attribute that receives in creation. Remember, when we have the concept, we say Mother Earth. We don't call it Papa Earth, we call it Mother Earth. And the reason Mother Earth is because of that. So, and we said that there is a correlation between Malchut and Binah, and so on and so forth. Yesterday, or last night, should I say, we spoke about in the Gemara, in the Sechet Ta'anit, we were talking about who gives to who. Is the water goes up and the water goes down, and basically it's both things like that. But really, the earth receives what the heaven gives. That's why the rain has to come from above. Again, in the Gemara, and just to show you that if you think that there's no Kabbalah in the Gemara, you're wrong. And if you think that you can learn Kabbalah without learning Gemara, you're also wrong. But the earth gets from the sky, from the rain, just like a man is with a woman. This is a symbolism. As much as the heaven waters and fertiles the earth with rain, so is the tiferet, the sphera of tiferet, mashpiyah, gives its shefa, gives its influence, gives its abundance to the malchut, and really nourishes it and makes it grow, makes it develop. Now, if you look at this, they're all on the same line. They are all in the same line. You have malchut, yesod, tiferet, and then keter all the way above. And that is a very, very big, reason, and yet a secret with it. And that's why there's certain things we have to be very, very careful. The instrument in which the shefa, the main highway, even though all the sferot can give one another, but the main vehicle that goes in the highway from Tiferet to Yesod is Yesod. Yesod is the instrument in which we use the shefa to come down. It's the let's say the local valve of the local water main that leads it from Tiferet to Malchut. Yesod is the regulating valve that has it over there. Another representation of the Sfirot of Tiferet and Malchut is also, you can find regarding the sun and the moon, where the sun is the Tiferet that gives its light to the moon, and then the moon, right, because of that, the moon has its light. The moon is Malchut. Just like Malchut, right, the moon itself does not have its own, he's not his own source of light, but rather gives from the light it received from Tiferet, from the sun. So is like that. Yes, sometimes we have the sun, yet for us, the sun is the main source, but also the moon is a source of light at night because we can see the sun. So it's called the source of light, but it really gets the light, gets the shefa from the sun, from Tiferet straightforward. So those 7 sferot, the 7 lower sferot, are really represented by the 7 also planets, right? There's the cycle of 7. Each one takes its own role in terms of the sferot. Light and darkness, right? And when the Kama we refer to, as they see in the Torah says in Maaseh Bereshit, really are referred to as Sfirot of Chesed, which is the Gvura and the Tiferet. The light and the darkness are the opposites. When the sky, as the sky refers to as the background that really fuses both of them together. Twilight time, what we call twilight time, right? Also in that we, especially twilight time, which tefillah we make especially in twilight time, which is very chashuv, right? That is the tefillah of Ne'ilah of Yom Kippurim, the last tefillah of Yom Kippurim, and it is an et ratzon. It's a good special time that in that particular time we call, what happens is it matkuta dinim. The judgments become sweeter, become softer, and therefore they're mixed together with the chesed, and that represents the Sfirat Tiferet. When the Gvura and Chokhmah are mixed together, therefore we get, come together. That's the average of that is Tiferet, and this is what we say Keneged Yaakov Avinu. Therefore we find the Sferot also. Another place we find it in the 4 elements, right? We have Chesed veGvura are the water and fire, right? And which is the water of abundance and blessing, right, that we get, and the fire that kind of burns everything, right? And they really come back together, and they're mixed together in what we call in the ruach. The ruach, and how do they come to that? The common thing to that, the ruach can make the fire either grow or could extinguish the fire, the wind, and the wind could also evaporate the water or could make the water stormy, can make like we have waves in the ocean. Then we have afar, the dirt or earth, right, is the malchut that really becomes the basis or the growing blade for everything else. Everything else is built on the earth, right? Because it kind of supports everything in terms of ideas, of course. If we're going to talk about, and you find something similar ideas, similar ideas in other cultures when we're talking about the winds and the directions of the earth. So if we refer, and we spoke about it earlier, so chesed is the south, that's where the bracha is, right? Gvura is the north, right? Because we says, mitzafon tipatach hara'a. Tiferet is the east, because the sun comes all the time, and the malchut is ma'arav. Now you might understand, first, or you could understand better, the position of certain artifacts in Beit HaMikdash. Where do we put the menorah, the candelabra, which represent abundance, right? We put it in the south. Where do we put the lechem hapanim? We put it in the north, and so on and so forth. Those things were placed in Beit HaMikdash as a representation of those attributes that we refer to as well. The same thing, for example, we could say regarding almost everything they could divide into four and of course they have their own colors, special colors that we're talking about. So when you look around you and you start seeing things, you can get a better idea on the spiritual order of things that happen and things that come. In Beit HaMikdash itself, and the Kodesh and Kodesh HaKodashim has tremendous representation that kind of represents the whole universe in a way. And then we have the Aron HaBrit and so on and so forth. And what we have inside the Aron HaBrit, we have the Luchot, the 10 Commandments. So basically you see that everything become a focal point for the focal point of whole creation and all the forces that are in the world. It's all basically about the Torah. Because inside the Holy of Holies, in the holiest place, between the cherubs, inside the Aron, what do we have there? We have the Torah. However, we have something else there. We have also the jar of the man. And what represents the jar of the man? Man represents the shefa that comes from above. That's why the Chazal said to us, En aman shamur ela lemi shelomed b'Torah. Those who learn Torah, the special abundance is safe to them, special bracha. And we're going to talk, believe there, about brachot as well, in terms of, so when you start understand that, it's not that you could manipulate nature, you could manipulate the universe, but the whole goal of the Mekubal is to better understand the forces that occur in the world and the order in which the world has in order for me to better operate it, to really execute what I need to do on a better level. That's the goal of the Mekubal, not to do hocus pocus and to take advantage of that. That's called betraying of the sacrificial holiness. We can't do that. It's just the understanding of that. Now, if we're going to talk about the 7 lower sferot, right, it also represents us by the avot, the forefathers of our nation, right? So, for example, there and Rav Leib said on that, and I'm quoting, there are some neshamot that are very, very unique neshamot who really open, by them coming to this world, they open a tremendous channel of abundance that is completely new to the world. And they really show us a new way to conduct the world. or they have such a unique spiritual ability, it's so unique that they become patriarchs, they become the father figures of our nation. And they really make a certain revolution in reality, in the world that was before them. And after that, it changes completely, in a real complete manner. For example, Avraham Avinu is called Ha'ivri, the Hebrew. Why? The whole entire world was one side, and Avraham Avinu was the other side. Ivri mishum ever, the other side, Ayin Bet Resh. The whole world was involved in idol worshiping. Avraham Avinu was the first person in the world. He's the first Baal Tshuva in the world that really seek the closeness, the existence, and the acknowledgement of God. So he rebelled the whole entire world, which he was born to. And at the end, Avraham Avinu changed the world. Avraham Avinu changed the world to such an extent that today, most of the world lives according to Avraham's path, whether they're Jews, Christians, or Muslims. They're all derivatives of Avraham Avinu. And he basically created a new reality in the world, completely. So when he was able to create this new reality, him and any other father figure like this is not only above and different than all, but also is on the opposite of the all, on the opposite of everything. In other words, is able to come back to such an ancient root that could, by doing so, bring up a new chidush. It's like, for example, if I was able to take I don't know, like they did in Israel for a while ago, they were able to take some seeds that they found in Metzada, another place like this that was so dry there, seeds of palm trees, and in a way germinate some of them to bring them back to life. Now these trees that they were gone, because even though they're date trees, but that species were gone. They were able to recreate them. How you could recreate something like this? By connecting yourself to an old root that existed all the way in the back. And why is that? Because that connects you to the light of Bereshit, to the original light. And by doing so, you are able to really fertile the world in a very unique and unexpected way, but it's a tremendous abundance. That example is Avraham Avinu. Chazal tells us that the Avot, our forefathers, are really are the chariot of God. And what they mean by that Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and the rest of them really became the pipe, the channel in which God has been revealed in this world in a unique way. That's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu reveals himself to each one of the forefathers, whether Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Moshe, in a different name, in a different aspect of him. Each one has a new revelation. That's why it says, I will be what I will be. I am Yudke Vavke, I'm Kel Shaddai, I'm Elohim, and so on and so forth. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I was not known to your fathers in this name. This is a new revelation because of the tremendous connection that you brought. There's a new revelation like that. So therefore, they themselves became the almost by being such a good representative of God, they became almost like a temple in which God dwelled inside of them, and therefore they expressed whatever was revealed to them by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, by His name, by their essence, through their lives, in a way that was not known, to the world beforehand. Avraham Avinu lived like nobody else. Yitzchak was completely different than Avraham. Yaakov was different than Yitzchak. And everything they did was a chidush in the world, a new way of life. And Avraham is, for example, we know Avraham represents the chesed. And in his character, in his behavior, he basically trailblazed a new form of life in the world, which holds the way of chesed, the way of kindness. Before Avraham Avinu, the world was a very, very cruel place, a very bitter place, a very selfish place. Somewhere we go back to this even today. The world was in darkness for 2,000 years in a complete state of chaos, kind of waiting for somebody to come in and to bring a new message of love and light, somebody that would give new meaning to this world, new meaning to life. This was done through Avraham Avinu. Before Avraham, the world did not know why it was created. That's why Chazal tells us, Ele toldot hashamayim ve'aretz. This is the story of heaven and earth, behibaram, when you created. Behibaram, bet, hey, bet, resh, aleph, mem. The same letters as be'avraham. The whole reason the world is in existence now is because of Avraham Avinu. Yes, the world was revealed in Chesed, but that Chesed was hidden. Came Avraham Avinu and revealed it. What was the reason of heaven and earth? The reason of heaven and earth, the reason the creation of the whole universe is for an act of Chesed. He revealed to us that the world was created for one thing, for love. And that's why he opened a tremendous channel of Chesed in the world. And you could tell that also the Torah is like this, because the Torah is ve'afta l'reacha kamocha. The Torah commends you to love. The Torah forbids you to hate. The Torah commends you to love. And I think that especially in those days, we need to adopt this model. We need to bring about acts of chesed to this world. We need to bring about acts of love to this world and abandon hate and rebuke those who promote hate and animosity and embrace those who promote love, kindness, and basically what we call tikkun olam. And until boys and girls, please don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And I hope to see you all tonight and to see you tomorrow. Don't lose hope. Salvation is on the way. Have a wonderful day.